Static comes in my ears, truth feels blurry. Headlines scream like wolves in a flurry. Who's the liar? Who's the thief? Who's the saint in disguise? Tell me, Tyler, are you dodging the knives? Left, right, both wrong. Truth's been gone too long. Tyler today, cut through the haze. Truth ain't a weapon, it's a light, it's a blaze. Tyler today, won't let it decay. Dodging the shadows, truth finds its way. Ink drips, red facts bleed on a paper. Voices crack, truths lost in the vapor. Fingers point at phantoms in the room. Tell me, Tyler, do we stand or assume? Tyler the day, cut through the haze. Truth ain't a weapon, it's a light, it's a blaze. Tyler the day, won't let it decay. Dodging the shadows, truth finds its way. Tempo shifts, heartbeats stutter, lies crack like glass they mutter. Hands on the clock, ticking slow, ticking fast. Tyler, don't let the truth be the past. Tyler the day, cut through the haze. Truth ain't a weapon, it's a light, it's a blaze. Tyler the day, won't let it decay. Dodging the shadows, truth finds its way.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? How's it going? Look, we got a lot of stuff today, so we're just gonna jump right into it. And to talk about all the news with me today, I have a guest. Who's my guest today? Well, it's none other than Stories with Stork. Hello, Stories with Stork. Oh wait, Stork, you're muted. Hang on, you're not allowed to talk. Now you can talk. I had to give you permission to
Trying
talk.
to silence me?
Yes,
Also,
I'm
why the
anti-free
fuck is
speech.
My camera, like,
What? You trying to figure out your camera?
no, my camera's centered on me, but on your screen, it's like way like.
The reason it's just the way I have it like preset for everybody. Cause like I have it pre-cropped, you know what if that makes any sense. I can't fix it. I can't. It'll be a lot of work to fix it. There you go. You got it. Perfect.
No,
Hello.
no.
How are you doing today, Mr. Stork? I know you're. I know the answer, but if you want to share.
I'm just doing bad. I've been dealing with medical bullshit, so
Yeah, very
not
fun.
like even like something's wrong. Like nothing new is wrong. It's just they literally decided to change the way they wanted to bill something. So all of a sudden I owe $1,000.
Yeah, it sounds about right. I've been to the emergency room in California plenty of times, and they don't even ask me for insurance most of the time. And I've gone, and out of the dozens of times I've gone, one random visit, they decided to like send me a bill for like $3,000, And I was like, I'm just gonna ignore that, and I have.
Well, no, I mean like literally, like it's whether or not somebody checks a box
It's basically what it is. It's literally
about whether or not I owe a thought. I went to an emergency room one time where I got there 30 minutes before the doctors changed. Okay. 30 minutes. I never saw this doctor, never anything. And I will tell you some more up things about that in a second. But I never saw this doctor. I never anything. They charged me $600 for seeing this doctor that I never saw. And I was confused when I got the bill. It was like I saw Dr. What? Like when did I it was some weird Indian name. I was like, I would remember this shit. And so I looked it up and I tried Googling his name. Do you know what I found when I Googled his name?
What's that?
The guy was actually under like a lawsuit from the family that owned or family that started the hospital back in like the 50s or 60s. This guy apparently was negligent in giving him care and got him killed. So the guy who started the hospital
died because of negligence due to this
killed.
guy. Yeah.
And he's still in the ER.
Does that surprise you, really, Stork? At the end of the day, with all the stories that we see in the nation nowadays, does it really surprise you,
dude? It like okay, so like today with this thing, it's literally just a heart monitor thing because I got some weird electrical shit with my heart. I don't want to get into it, and it's not. It's honestly not even like the worst of what's wrong with me. And they're just like, yeah, we'll put you on a heart monitor once or twice a year. Just check it, you'll be fine, right? I'm like, okay, cool. So I go get the heart monitor, put it on last November. I have insurance through my wife, thankfully. Thank God about that. You know, and so I get back, I pay maybe $50 or whatever copay for the office visit. That was it. I get the same thing done back in June. And all of a sudden last night, apparently, like I opened up this letter that was like $930. And I'm like, this is a mistake. It's the exact same. Nothing changed. Same materials, same location, same people, same everything.
Yeah. Here, I do have a lot of stories to get into today, so let's jump into that.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. It was an interesting enough story. We were still waiting for people to roll in. You know how the beginning of the shows go. We got Melted in the chat. He said, "Nah, bro, no news today." No news has been slow this week, but I do have plenty to talk about. That's why I want to jump into it. What's up, Tactical Tinkerer? Melted also said that he had a super bad road rash that took him 2 weeks to get a doctor, and all they did was peel the scabs off and then rewrap it. Cost him $2,500. Just don't pay. They can't do ish.
Yeah. That's the other. Well, I know how much this piece of medical equipment would cost if I were to like build it with a fucking Raspberry Pi kind of thing. Maybe $400 or $500. I get a bill for $930 for the chart readout of the damn. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
So, have you read any of the news today? I know you've had a busy morning.
I read what you sent me. I've seen one or two other things. I have mostly tried to keep it a surprise.
Okay. So, I'll just read the title.
Spoil your show here, Tyler.
That's fair. Well, so I'll just read the title for everyone, just to get an idea of what we're getting into today. We're going to talk about a massive Trump win, which was an expected win, but a win nonetheless. A sheriff ends judge's courthouse brothel. And that is the
we got another story out of Texas?
No, this is Kentucky.
Why are they following me with this shit?
What do you mean?
Well, one, like, Kentucky is one of those places. Do you not know the story of LaGrange, Texas?
No. Is that another brothel? Courthouse brothel?
Oh, shit. When we get into the story, I'll tell you about it.
No,
Just make sure we cover it while I'm still here.
No, I'm joking. No, this is Kentucky, though, and it's all on video. I'm not going to show the video. I have the picture in my thumbnail blurred. But yes, it's on video. The sheriff of this county walks into the judge's office and ends his life right there on camera. Like it's pretty crazy. I have the article shared on my Discord if you want to go find that article, if you want to look at it yourself. We'll pull it up later and go more in depth on it. But the first thing I want to talk about is the and then as well as the CDL bribery scheme in Washington. We'll talk about that, and there's also a bunch of other stories we'll get to. But with that first story, bro went postal. No, literally, bro went postal. We'll get into that story though, because that's probably my I don't want to say favorite story of the day, but I think it's I'm most interested in it. So we'll get into this first story though. So let's get into this, Mad Stork. New York appeals court has now thrown out the over $500 million penalty that was levied against Trump in the Letitia James civil case. The appeals court ruled that the disgorgement was an excessive fine that violated the Eighth Amendment. So this is, Matt Stork and I were talking about it a little bit, and a lot of people were expecting him to win on appeal. But, it's still a win nonetheless. This is something that a lot of people were talking about.
I'm not trying to downplay it. Like, take the victories where you can, kind of thing.
Well, because this is one of the things that people were worried about, that if it didn't go away, that when when he gets out of office, they could just all of a sudden come back and be like, hey, bills come due, Yeah,
and I get that. Like, by no means am I trying to say, like, it's a great thing that this happened. But I've seen some people today who are I'm just going to be real honest. I've started noticing who's lazy with the news in the last couple of months.
What's my rating?
And what's that?
What's my rating?
Yours is not bad. Honestly, yours is not bad. But I've started to notice what some of these other people do with the news and everything with these podcasts and stuff.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, Trump got acquitted on the 500,000. And I'm like, chill down, guy. Like we
I get it. It was a slow news week. You don't have to hype it up that bad. Look, like I've been telling you, I missed my show on Tuesday just because there wasn't a ton of things that I wanted, that I could sit here and talk about. I wanted to save the stories that I had for yesterday's show.
I honestly respect that shit. If you feel that it is a slow news day and there's not a lot of shit to talk about, you know what? I will somewhat respect that. Now, I will disagree with you that there's no news, but
you know what I mean when I say no news. Like, there's not news that I can jump off of. Like with this, we can talk about all sorts of. There's a lot of different things that you can branch off of with a story like this.
Well, one of the things is since all of this happened, of course, she has been found guilty of the same shit in Georgia.
Yeah, which is. Hilarious, a hilarious turn of events.
She's been found guilty. Let me.
Well, she's been charged or being investigated.
She's been charged. Allegations have been made. Something to that effect. She has not been found guilty, to my knowledge, yet.
But still, point stands.
Yeah, and so I mean that shit's gone on. Not only him, but Schiff in Congress has also been brought up on similar charges now. Yep. Because they didn't just maybe fudge a number or something right here. It wasn't just that. They went out of their way and filed tax documents for it.
Well, yeah, and then this is one of the major cases that everyone pointed to for them targeting Trump unjustly, because there was no victim in this case. There's no victim. No, all the people that he signed these deals with said that they would sign deals with him again.
Yes.
So it was BS from the start.
I get the reason that you need courts and police officers, a certain amount of leeway so that you don't end up with a battered wife kind of thing going on, because that's horrible. I'm not saying that that's something that should go on.
I'm just happy that we had the New York appeals court actually appeal to the Constitution and said that it violated the Eighth Amendment.
Well, okay, I do want to talk about that slightly.
Sure, yeah.
And that is, I think our entire fine system, our system for fining companies and everything in the United States, is basically bullshit.
Oh, I agree. I talk about basically everything when it comes to being fined or getting ticketed or anything in this country is bullshit. Because it only affects poor people. It only affects the people that can't pay for
bullshit. Tyler today is.
It is. I mean, just think about it. It literally, as long as you can afford it, you can break the laws.
Well, there is the statement about anything that is a fine to do is not illegal. It's merely saying you have to be rich to do it.
You just
There
have
is
to be
that
wealthy to do it.
statement.
Exactly. Like speeding. I could speed all day if I wanted to, if I could pay for the speeding tickets.
Maybe in California, but in Texas,
Well,
they
okay, yeah.
passed.
Eventually, they might take the car, yeah, depending on how fast I'm going to.
Oh no,
But
no, no. Well, that too, but no. In some states, you only get like 2 or 3 tickets before
oh, they take your license.
you're like done.
Oh.
And in Texas, they actually made it a lot harsher. While I was living overseas, they changed the whole system to be like you get like 3 or 4 tickets and you're done forever. And I was just like, what? Because it was like a whole thing. Somebody like had to like actually explain to me like
Breaking news sources
what
are
that
telling us
means, and
that
I was
New
just
York Attorney
like,
General Letitia.
I was just looking at this
Huh?
other article that was linked in that one. It says the Department of Justice opens a grand jury investigation into Letitia James tied to Trump's civil case.
yeah. So there's all kinds of allegations about whether or not what she did was legal, whether or not like that's gonna need
Well, there was a lot
follow
of
up.
stuff, and like, wasn't the people she was working with like her boyfriend or something, and she was paying him a crazy amount of money? I forget. There was
There's all
something with that,
kinds
right?
of allegations surrounding this particular court case now
Yeah.
that just it's gone pretty nuts. I don't have any other way to say it other
Are there
than just
any
pretty nuts,
investigations
yeah.
into the judge? Do you know? Because I know the judge was shady too.
Well, the judge apparently she had a political axe to grind as well. I'm not sure the extent to what all that is or isn't. So I don't want to disparage a judge. I'm not that crazy. But
Yeah, Shitty Gov
but
says, how many folks have they hit with charges like Trump, but they didn't have the money to fight it?
yeah, that's basically it. There is another case that's being brought to the forefront by one of the legal law guys, and I can't remember who it is, but he's basically presenting a case in a video that is very similar to Carl's case, where essentially they're just going. It was a water bill. That's one of the things that makes it so similar to Carl's case, is that it was a water bill that the city is taking a $800,000 property in the state of New York from a guy for a water bill that they just never actually delivered to the guy. And then they sold to some sort of collections agency that was then charging them interest. And then this $800 property was essentially taken from a guy for a $5,000 water charge that was collecting interest that he didn't know about.
Sounds like a lot of stories we hear about.
And he had paid it off 20 years earlier. He had paid the property off 20 years earlier. And so this situation, honestly, I think it's just so sad that the state of New York would go after a senior citizen like Donald Trump and try to take his property from him. And it seems to be a really common story around the country right now, where all of these municipalities are going after senior citizens. And I know that I'm being somewhat tongue in cheek right now.
Well, you're not exactly being tongue in cheek. I mean, they won't go after BlackRock.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know I'm being, well, they're a corporation, which is back to what it was I was saying a second ago. But I know I'm kind of being tongue in cheek with this shit, but they're legitimately going after senior citizens' properties, man.
Yeah. No, and
Like,
they do that because the older generation, a lot of them don't have family living with them that can help them with that. So then you start targeting them. They don't know what's going on.
a lot of them don't have the financial means, the wherewithal essentially to do it. And
That and everything's online now. So
shit.
if they're gonna go figure out anything, they got to go get a computer to do it.
Oh yeah. Places like California that have passed like
Legislation to make it to where everything's online and through a computer. Yeah.
well, hold on. I want to use the exact verbiage that somebody like with them would use. It would be the Paper Waste Reduction Act or some shit that
That's
says you now
something
have to
like
go
that.
online to do it. And these, 65, 70-year-old people are like, I paid this house off 30 years ago. What's this sold? How is my property sold? I mean, it literally makes no fucking sense. And I mean, to relate it back to what earlier I was talking about with the whole medical shit, like, I don't understand how we've allowed bureaucracy to just charge us money, just blindly, nebulously, abstractly charge us money in some sort of weird fucking way.
I mean, it's said frequently the revolution would have started long ago if our founding fathers were still around. Stork.
Dude, I'm pretty sure most of the founding fathers were against property tax.
Oh,
Like,
I'm sure they would have been. The property
oh
tax
no
is
no 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 no, not
BS.
like kind of like I'm pretty sure they explicitly said, do not levy a property tax. That's why we don't have a national property tax. That's why it's down to the states, because they put in shit and made sure to say on the federal level, don't make a property tax.
This is not a good idea.
It's not a good idea, but they didn't say for the states to not do it.
George would be
So the
stacking
states went, well,
bodies.
you weren't talking about us. We'll just go ahead and do
They
it.
would call it the Communications Modernization Act, is what Tinkerer said.
No, like
That
like,
is something like they would
legitimately,
make it.
that's
Yeah.
not a joke. I think that's what they would have called that shit.
I don't know about that, Melted. I don't think I'm gonna read that one. That is quite the hot take. Anyway, I think we're gonna jump to
gotta
the.
load up your Rumble chat. Just
I'm not reading it. It's on screen, but I'm not reading it.
well, I can't see it, so I'm gonna find it.
Anyway, we're gonna jump to this next story while you find that, and it's the story I have up on screen right now. Did you read it? I'm waiting. Oh yeah, you read it.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
There's no comment to be had
in that message.
There's no comment to be had on that, Stork. We're gonna move on.
I will say that the client found it amusing.
Do you find this amusing though, Stork? Do you find that illegal immigration hit a record high of 14 million in the U.S. in 2023, according to a new Pew report? How do you feel about that? I would like to know.
My question about that is that saying 14 million in 1 year?
Yes.
If that says that it's 14 million in
I have
1 year.
Here's the. Let me switch your camera because I know you're looking over my camera. I'll pull this up.
It's okay. I can bring this back to the screen.
Well, no. There you go. So go back to the Vid Ninja. U.S. unauthorized immigrant population reached a record 14 million in 2023. Wait, so that's the population. I'm confused now.
Okay, so
this is, according to them, there's only 14 million in the country.
According to them, it hit 14 million in 2023, but that's not including the estimated border crossings of 2024.
2024 leading into 2025, yeah.
Which means they would have had another
20,
2 or 3.
Oh wait, how many people came over in 2024?
That's a very good question. I don't think I've seen an official number. I've seen
the number of unauthorized immigrants in the United States reached an all-time high of 14 million in 2023 after 2 consecutive years of record growth. According to a new Pew Research Center estimate, the increase of 3.5 million in 2 years is the biggest on record. Data from 2023 is the most recent available for developing a comprehensive and detailed estimate. So they just don't have the numbers from the last couple years yet.
Well, you'll note. I mean, anyone who is new to this will recognize, and I'm not saying you are, but some people who are new to the space or newer, they'll notice younger people. They'll notice that eventually they'll get a handle on it. FBI doesn't release stats from last year. Stats are always 2 to 3 years old.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
They got to make sure the numbers are fudged enough, you know.
Well, yeah. Okay, so the Pew Research one is still saying early 2024 was at 14 million. But they're suggesting that it grew 3.7 in the year of 2024. So
Well, so then
I don't know.
the peak previously before 2023 was actually 2007.
Yeah, shocking there. Who's not surprised by
and
that?
then it goes down because of the deporter in chief by about 2 million. And then it goes back up to 14. So you can see from Obama's administration, right? You can see because Obama's administration starts right after that 12.2, and you can see it just steadily starts to go down. And then Trump's administration gets in right after that 11, and it goes down even further. And then Biden's administration, boom, shoots up, skyrockets. Makes you wonder.
At least 3 million inadmissible encounters in 2024, with 10.8 million total encounters.
But does that account for visa overstays, which is a large number of the people that are here illegally?
3 million inadmissible encounters doesn't mean they were turned away. So that means there were somewhere between 1 and 3 million let into the United States. How many, we don't know. So it's somewhere between 15 and 17 million would be the official number then.
Tactical Tinker said, Tyler, now factor in that only 40% of survey respondents answer honestly. Well, this isn't a survey. This is data that they've compiled from immigration stats over the past years.
Yeah, this is a much bigger net that they're pulling information from.
Yeah.
But this would mean essentially that the number,
and then it breaks it down right here
in the 15 to 16, maybe 17 range. So that means 20 was probably overestimated. 10 is way too optimistic. The realistic number is probably around 16 million.
16, 17 million active in the country right now, if you don't account for current deportations.
Yeah, not well. See, that's the other thing. I had a very disturbing phone call earlier on. I know that I said my day started with that. That's not actually what my day started with. My day really started. I went and took my wife to work, and then on my way back, I finally got a phone call back from somebody I know who works in schools in Texas. And the Texas government passed a law that was a really fucking dumb idea. It sounded good to somebody. Say it sounded really good to some fucking retarded conservative.
What was the law?
And it was not a good idea. And they apparently sometime since the beginning of the Trump administration, I won't get into too many specifics, they were on the phone with a Muslim mother who she was trying to explain, we're concerned about his mental health. He may be suicidal. We need you to go speak to some, a counselor or psychologist. And the mother explained to this person from the school who called that they don't believe in psychology or psychiatric care or counseling or any of that stuff. And for whatever reason, that person felt, I get what you're saying, but could you at least go put eyes on your kid and just make sure that they're all right? And then I'll let you go. I won't bother you anymore today. Like, just do that for me. And they apparently carried on arguing about that for like 10, 15 minutes. The mother finally went to go check on the child. The child was no longer with us, Tyler.
But you didn't explain what the law was.
The law that they changed was you have to give consent as a parent for a mental health person, essentially within the school, to talk to your child. Not suggest things to a child, not follow up with a child, not refer them to services, not, go get them a medical exemption to get their, things cut off. The law was simply in order to talk to a child anymore in the state of Texas as a medical healthcare professional.
Sorry to cut you off, Matt. How does this relate to what we're talking about immigration?
Yeah, the reason that I'm bringing all of this shit up with immigration, the reason that this is all coming up and everything, is these people shouldn't be in the fucking country, man. Like we are so culturally divorced from what it is that's going on. I mean, that's one of the things. But the other things that it was one of the things I think somebody said and everything, it triggered it in my mind. These people have no cultural connection with us, and they're so far removed from like what's fucking normal. And we in the next 5 years, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be here to see it, but in the next 5 years, man, you guys are about to see some crazy, weird, you heard about it in the UK 10 years ago kind of shit. And I don't even know what to tell you anymore. I mean, 14 million confirmed.
And then it breaks it down right here. So when it hit the peak in 2007, it says the total without protection from deportation. So the vast majority back in 2007 were just people that came here and they don't have any protections from deportation. Very small minority had some protection. But now you contrast that to the rates now. I mean, it's just steadily been increasing to now almost half of the illegal population has some protection. What does it mean by some protection, though? Does it clarify that? Let's see.
It's got to be asylum status or refugee status.
Yeah, I have a general idea. And then I was being asked in the chat where they're sourcing this from. It has the source right here, actually. Pew Research Center estimates based on the augmented U.S. Census Bureau data. So they're going off the U.S. Census.
These laws, essentially, that are dealing with issues like this, that are dealing with, I don't know if we have a story pulled up today about our most recent favorite delivery driver.
Well, we're not going to be talking about him specifically. We'll be talking about a story around that. Yeah.
The reason that I'm mentioning him with this and everything is
he shouldn't even be here.
Sick of Shitty Gov says, I'm fine with that law. The schools are out of control. They should need my permission for everything they do with my kids. Also, don't let Muslims, blah, 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 all that, everything, right? And it wasn't that bad. I'm trying to be somewhat sensitive to Tyler being on YouTube. Here's the thing about it. Like, there's a wide gap between the counselors are telling my kids to chop off their, and I need your permission to talk to your kid because he's going through something at school. There's a wide gap between those two sections. And
I mean, that's the concern that I had too when you were talking about that. Is I think of the counselors in California, but I think it's a good example of the left and the right. The right will take things and be like, nope, parents have full control. You don't get to talk to them at all. And then the left will go the other way with it. Be like, nope, teachers get all the permission. They get to do everything with your kids. And then the truth is somewhere in the middle. People should be able to talk to kids and ask them if their day is going okay.
I think they should be able to go to them and be like, hey, you seem like you're having a rough day. Maybe you're going through some things. Would you like to talk about it?
Yeah, something like that is perfectly fine.
Follow up with the parent about everything you discussed.
Yep.
And then ask permission with the parent to continue. It's not fucking complicated. You do an initial check on the child, call it a welfare check even. An initial welfare check on the child, then talk to the parents to proceed it all. Then do that shit. And the reason, and this story isn't going to be in the news for the record, and I was told that the reason that I'm being very vague with things is because it was told me in confidence kind of thing. And that's why I'm being very, very, very vague with it. This situation here where we have these people who are either here under protected status or unprotected status.
It clarifies here how that happened too.
The whole reason we're even having this conversation is because this mom doesn't believe in mental health care.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing with there's a lot of
conservatives passed. Fuck them.
It's not just a issue with we can't just be blaming Muslims in the chat. There's a bunch of because there's people blaming it on it, them being Muslim. There's people that will deny the health care to their child because all kinds of reasons. It's not just a religious thing. So let's not make it a religious thing.
Where the mother intentionally didn't get health care for her son to spite the father.
Yep. Or, there's parents that'll purposefully make sure their children stay sick so that way they can have that nurturing aspect.
Well, you have Munchausen syndrome. You have all kinds of things like that.
But we're getting away from the immigration story. I want to keep talking about this.
I wanted to bring it back to that real quick, and that is there are all kinds of cultures wrapped up in this immigration shit.
But we're a melting pot.
We're not supposed to let these many people into this damn country, man.
Unauthorized immigrants with some protections from deportations accounted for more than 40% of those without full legal status in 2023. These protections can be, and in some cases, have been removed by the federal government, sometimes with little notification. There was also a story I was reading just before I went live that all visa holders in the United States are currently being investigated now for anything that could have their visa revoked. So that was announced earlier before I went live. All visa holders are now being investigated to see if there's something they can revoke.
Like, I'm genuinely asking. I'm wondering if that includes my wife.
They said all, like, what was it, 50,000? Or they said something.
I mean, she has a green card.
I'll report on it more tomorrow. But it also says that the increase from 2021 to 2023 was driven primarily by growth in the number of unauthorized immigrants who are living in the U.S. with some protections from deportation, such as immigrants paroled in the country and asylum seekers. About 6 million immigrants without full legal status had some protection from deportations in 2023. Where did it say? It said the total number with temporary protections from deportations increased after 2021 following policy changes made by the Biden administration that allowed many immigrants to arrive in the U.S. with protected status and others to gain protection shortly after arriving. That was the CBP1 app, by the way. They were scheduling entry into the country and getting minimal protection. So that's how these numbers have skyrocketed. All these people were using that stupid app that Joe Biden made, and now they have minimal protection.
I know what triggered the shit in my head. You ready, Tyler? I've been saying this shit for months, and that is the problem with Republicans is they don't actually get the information out there. And we don't have any information out there on how many they've deported, how many have gone through the CBP1 app, how many they've arrested, where they've arrested. We have bad information every step of the fucking way. And the same thing in these other situations that I've brought up, they're not telling people about them so that they can keep making bad decisions. The reason they were capable of passing that law is because they're not letting anyone know about the after effects of that law. The Republicans, conservatives, the whole fucking right wing sticks their head in the dirt and says, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no problem to see here. Let's move on. And right now, we know that there were 14 million here at least in 2023. How many have we deported? We don't know.
Or it's like that story. It's like that story last night or yesterday with they were talking about on Timcast. You have Kristi Noem standing in front of the border wall, be like, yeah, we're painting it black so that it increases the longevity of the wall and makes it hotter for people to climb over. And it's like, great, you guys are spending money on painting the wall. Have you finished the wall? No.
What conservatives and Republicans do is hide data.
Well,
They just hide data.
It's like I keep saying, Stork, the people of this country are not ready for the human rights abuses that have to happen to carry out the mass deportations that we actually want to see.
Well, I mean, I'm cool. That is not wrong, but they keep saying like 1 million or 1.6 million have left with the CBP1 app. From where? Starting when? How most recent is that data? Is that an official source? The answer to that question is no, it is not an official source. Those are leaks or talks or suggestions that other people have stated off the record. We don't fucking know. An anonymous, literally, we just went through 4 years of anonymous sources not meaning shit. And now we're being told by anonymous sources some good information. And we're like, oh, yeah
like every day.
Sounds good.
Half the stories I read lately is like a source close to the White House. And it's like, oh, I would love to know this source. I would love to know who this is so I can accredit whether or not I actually believe them or not.
This isn't even fucking hard. I have linked you before to a Freedom of Information request access website that gives actual data on who and where they're arresting people from.
I mean, bye-bye YouTube has it. All it would take is to levy a fine of $100K per illegal hired for any business. $100K per fine, no one will hire an illegal again. And then for the larger companies, if you have to up that fine, go ahead.
Actually, I would make it a little bit different than that, Tyler. I would say $1,000 a day up to $100,000. At $100,000, you just lose your business license and go to jail.
Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot of cases like that where they should just lose their license. Yeah.
And that's retroactive. So if they find out that some guy had been working at your place for 5 years illegally and you knew about it,
yep,
straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
$100,000 fine.
Straight to jail. Do not pass go.
Do not pass go. Straight to jail.
Straight to jail. Hey,
these aren't complicated things.
It's really not, but
they're not releasing the information. They're intentionally obscuring this shit from you, though. Pew Research now has the most accurate data on how many illegals there were because the Trump administration won't fucking tell us.
Well, and what's called, now you hear Trump saying things like, oh, we're worried about being able to collect the crops and stuff like that. I don't know if you heard my idea on the show with Joey yesterday, but they keep saying that, we're not going to have enough hands to collect the crops and, we're going to lose a lot of food because people aren't collecting it. You know what my idea for that was, Stork? Because we have all these young people that aren't working?
Yes.
Draft them.
Yes, Concrete Hades. I want more than 50% of businesses seized.
Yes.
Also, I had what I would like to call a dark thought.
Wait, you didn't have a comment on my draft theory, my draft idea.
I like the draft theory. Mine is a little more straightforward, practical. It's going to be in response to your draft theory. You
okay.
Ready? Okay. These plane tickets cost money. And I feel that the United States government should be entitled to recuperating some of those losses. So the dark thought that I had, which would make every liberal shit they would shit themselves, then stick their head up their ass, and then shit that.
I have a lot of stories to get to. Just get to the point. Come on.
Force the illegals to work to pay off the plane ticket.
Force them to work? I don't like that idea either. It sounds funny, but no, I just get them out.
It's a dark thought. It's not a good thought.
I would say just get them out. I don't want their work. They can leave. All right, I want to jump to this next story, but before we do, let's read an ad. I got a short one here for gaming chairs. You guys want an ad for gaming chairs? Stork, I'm going to the solo camera so I can do a gaming chair ad. We'll come back to you with this next story. I want to get your thoughts on this next story. Are you guys looking for a comfortable but unique option for your gaming setup? Check out technisportusa.com. With a wide range of ergonomic chairs and an array of colors, you will definitely bring your setup to the next level. Always comfy, never boring. TechniSport. Use code RUMBLE for 10% off your entire order. That's technisportusa.com. Go get a new gaming chair, guys. If you guys are in the market for a new gaming chair, go check them out. That was a really short ad. I think that's like the shortest ad that Rumble has. More of those, please. I like that. Anyway, all right, Matt Stork, we're going to be jumping into this next story. I want to get your thoughts on this one because this is hilarious, in my opinion. You have to go pick up the wife here soon?
I do, but we're fine for now. Just hurry up.
No, I know. I was just curious before we jump to the story, because we're gonna jump to the story here. Former Walmart worker now being indicted after trying to intervene in immigration arrest. And of course, this is L.A. A former Walmart employee who tried to intervene as Border Patrol agents arrested an undocumented custodial worker in Pico Rivera in June was indicted by a federal grand jury Wednesday. Adrian Martinez, who is 20, was indicted in Santa Ana jury on charge of conspiracy to impede a federal officer tied to the events of June 17th, which unfolded at the height of the Trump administration's immigration raids in the Los Angeles area. Martinez's violent arrest was caught on video and quickly went viral. Do they have the video? What? I want to see the video now. Prosecutors allege that he positioned himself with a growing crowd to surround the agent's vehicle and prevent it from leaving the area. Martinez then allegedly grabbed a large trash can and moved it in front of the agent's vehicle, blocking them from being able to pass. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office in L.A., Martinez faces up to 6 years in prison if convicted. He is set to be arraigned in downtown L.A. on Thursday. Make no mistake, there are serious life-altering consequences for impeding law enforcement. Acting U.S. Addy? I've never seen that abbreviation. Bill
attorney.
Is that attorney? Why? Okay, why would they shorten attorney like that? Anyway, acting U.S. Attorney Bill Esley, whatever, said it in a news release Wednesday. Martinez's lawyers released a statement noting that it just as in other cases arising out of recent illegal and inhumane ICE raids, the U.S. Attorney's Office had to travel out of Los Angeles County to secure this indictment. Yeah, because the people in L.A. would just let the guy get off. So, yes, they have to go outside of L.A. County. Are you retarded? Let's see. I want to see the video. Do we have the video?
My question is that photo up above him at home with his significant other?
No, that's his mother.
Yeah. My question is, why isn't he in jail?
Good question. I don't know. Because it's California and we don't put people in prison. It says surveillance and spectator video captured. Oh wait, it says top secure indictment and protest case. But I have to. Okay, well, I'm not paying for your stupid article. Okay, well, they don't have the video here. That's what I was more looking for. Was the video? Well, I just thought this was a funny story. That fuck around and find out. What I'm confused about is why is he the only one? If it was a crowd of people, why is he the one? You know what I'm saying? Like, drop the article into the Wayback Machine and it'll get past the paywall. That's why I use Yahoo News. I'm still looking at Los Angeles Times. I just look at it through Yahoo News. Why is Chris spamming my chat?
Tyler, why aren't a lot more people in jail for this shit?
There's a lot of people that should be in prison, yes.
It's some sort of weird perversion of the law that a state would issue things like driver's licenses that get people across the country being killed, and whatever mindset is required to achieve that as a thing.
Funny you say that. You want to jump to this next story before you got to go. because we'll probably talk about this for a good solid second. We have this from the post-millennial guys. This follows that story with the trucker from Florida. Well, not from Florida. He's from California, also from Washington, and from India. But caused an accident in Florida, killed 3 people. So this story isn't exactly related to that, but it comes out following that. So pretty relevant. Commercial driving school in Washington, Oregon, bribed independent testers to get passing grades for failing students, according to a report. The scheme allowed scores of unqualified drivers to obtain commercial driver's licenses. So this place in Washington, and I guarantee you it's not the only place, but this place in Washington was literally paying independent testers to secure licenses for people that should have no business being on the road.
Are you familiar with the concept of social or social trust, social cohesion, social peace, any of these concepts?
Yeah.
Okay. What they have done is raped the social trust, the social cohesion, the trust, because I'm anybody who has like some sort of a mental disorder where if somebody says something, they will just think about it for the rest of the day. You might want to flip off for a second and come back in just a second, okay? Literally, what allows us to function as a society is the idea that while you are traveling in a 1,000-pound vehicle across the road, the other person can be trusted to operate their 1,000-pound vehicle going across the road at a speed difference of sometimes, in 140 miles an hour, where if those two things collided, everyone would be dead. And the house that's over here with the kid playing, some debris might hit him. So the only thing that makes our society capable of functioning in some sort of a rational way is that we can trust the systems we have in place to work properly, to uphold our society, to create social cohesion, to create social trust. Read the headline one more time, Tyler.
Well, I mean, it goes further into it. I mean, the commercial driving school in Washington, Oregon, bribed independent testers to get passing grades for failing students. The scheme allowed scores of unqualified drivers to obtain commercial driver's licenses. It goes on to say that the alleged bribery scheme involved cash-stuffed envelopes, unqualified instructors, fraudulent testing, and it has rocked Washington's commercial driver licensing system, and it has now received new attention in the wake of the deadly crash in Florida, allegedly caused by an illegal immigrant who couldn't speak English. According to the May investigation by the Oregonian, or Oregon Live, Skyline CDL School, a truck driving academy with branches in Washington and Oregon, allegedly funneled cash bribes to independent state certified examiners in exchange for passing grades. The alleged scheme allowed scores of unqualified drivers to obtain commercial driver's licenses by bypassing federal safety requirements and putting dangerous drivers behind the wheels of semi-trucks. Guys, these things can take out literal houses when moving at a normal speed.
At a normal speed, like 30 miles an hour, they can take out a house.
That's what I mean. Like cruising down the
70.
street, guys checking his phone, not looking at the road, swerves off the road. There goes a house. Like, you just took out a whole family.
Yeah. And I can tell you, as somebody who works on homes like that, when a car hits the center of a wall, the wall will probably, it has a pretty good chance of surviving. Not 100%, but a pretty good chance of surviving. When a semi crashes into the same part of the wall, nothing's fucking left. It's just done.
I mean, all of these people need to get like federal charges. Investigators say bundles of $520, $530 in cash were paper clipped to sticky notes bearing students' birth dates, then shipped via United States Postal Service to independent state tester Jason Hodson in Arlington, Washington. Hodson then allegedly entered passing test results for Skyline students who never showed up for exams or in some cases never even tested at all. Between April 2023 and September 2024, Hodson recorded tests for over 877 drivers. 822 of them Skyline students. Retesting revealed that 80 per of those who retook exams failed. Wait, what? What is? Why is it? I don't like the wording on that. Retesting revealed that 80 per of those. I'm assuming it means 80%.
Yeah, roughly.
So it's retest. I'm just gonna say it means 80%. Retesting revealed that 80% of those who retook exams failed, confirming they were not qualified to get the licenses. The Washington Department of Licensing revoked the credentials of over 110 drivers, including 102 of them from Skyline, and terminated the Hodson's contract. Skyline, Washington.
Per in this case actually means of those. Retesting revealed that 80 of those who
Okay,
retook
it's such a weird way to word that.
Somebody needs to take Libby Evans and just sometimes shake her. Like,
well, did she write this one? This was
no, she
this is
didn't,
Ari.
but I'm sure she, proofread it and should have just been.
Well, I don't think they did because the first word is a typo. It's an alleged, not am.
She's probably on Timcast tonight. That's probably what that means.
I swear, if you're right, I'm gonna die. State regulators accused Skyline of employing unqualified instructors, some of whom lacked valid licenses or spoke little English. So, of course, these guys were running bribery schemes to help other people that can't speak English then. You get instructors that can't speak English, and then you're going to have a bunch of people that they're teaching that also can't speak English. Like,
I'm going to be real honest. I'm not very nationalistic or jingoistic in a lot of my thinking. I mean, my wife is from another country. Like, I've lived overseas for some time. I'm not very nationalistic or jingoistic. I'm very patriotic towards Texas. But I think the real answer to this problem is that you should not be allowed to have a certification company for something that is within the national interest, or even an operating company that is within the national interest that has a foreigner on the corporate board or in the certification process at all. And let me correct that. I don't mean foreigner. I mean foreign born.
So this story is actually not even new. A 2024
Correct.
whistleblower exposed the alleged scheme.
Yes. This is what I'm trying to say, though. Unless you were born in this country, you should not be, for reasons of national security, you should not be allowed to have one of these companies or licensing programs.
That's fine.
I don't even think that if you were foreign born, you should be allowed to own a trucking company.
What about driving a truck if you pass all the tests? If you actually pass all the tests.
If you actually passed all of the tests, I'm semi-okay with letting you drive.
But owning the company, no.
But owning the company, no.
I think
the
I'd be fine
reason
with that.
for that is, just to be real clear, real honest, real open with it, the reason for that is too much of the nation's infrastructure relies on these transportation trucks. And for literally national security reasons, they should not be involved in this system. Now, all that being said, Tyler, I woke up today and for some reason, one of my dad's favorite songs was playing in my head. And one of the lines is, and I have to go after this.
I know.
Breathe deep the gathering gloom, watch lights fade from every room. Bedsitter people look back and lament another day's useless energy spent. And after the last couple of stories that we've talked about today, Tyler, for some reason, a drowning pool song keeps playing in my head.
Why?
Something about making contact with that plane underneath your feet.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Something striking it, hitting it.
What are you talking about?
The floor, I think, something hitting the floor.
What are you getting at? I don't understand what you're doing.
Basically, yeah. Chris got it. Chris definitely has it. I just
Oh, you're trying to say that? Just say the song.
I'm trying to be somewhat funny. What I'm trying to say here, Tyler, is that what the fuck is wrong with people? They're literally destroying society, and it's not some crazy obscure department of the federal government that is doing that. It's literally the licensing shit that is happening in Oregon, where they hand people cards that lets them operate 80,000-pound machines
Without
next
understanding
to
how they
people
work.
on the without understanding how they work, the signs for how to operate them, how they're supposed to control
They don't know how to
them.
operate them. They don't know where to take
They
them.
don't know how to speak English. Let me be clear about this. If these people are driving through the middle of nowhere, okay, and let's say Kansas, we're just going to make up some shit, okay? They're driving through the middle of nowhere in Kansas and they need to refuel their semi, okay? So they're stopping and getting gas. They don't know how to explain to the clerk that the machine is acting funny.
There's a lot of things with that, and I want to clarify something in the chat. Chris, you're gonna need to fact check yourself there, because that instance from 2019, that's not the same guy. Same name, different guy. You're muted now. Hades, you're muted. You are muted. I didn't do it. That's you. You did something. That's what he gets for messing around. But Chris, fact check yourself on that, because he didn't get into the country. He didn't get into the country till 2018. And then he had some stuff happen up. I already looked into it. In 2019, that's when he started getting into immigration troubles. He applied for a work visa, was denied by the Trump administration. 2020 rolls around. Biden gets in. He gets approved by the Biden administration. So he didn't even have anything for trucking yet until I think it was 2021. So he's been trucking for about 4 or 5 years. You're still muted. It's not me. There's no audio coming from VidNinja. You have to go anyway. I don't know what you're saying. Too late. It's head cannon now. I don't know what that means, Chris.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear me, but
I've got. Oh, I could for a second. Anyway, he's got to go. Bye, Stork.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, good.
You're very quiet now.
I'm leaving now, and you can't do anything about it.
Okay.
Fuck you, Tyler. Fuck the news. There is no news anyways.
You know what there is, though, is this hang up button. Bye, Stark. Anyway. Oh! That was perfect. Thank you, guys. Looks like we just hit the like goal. Hell yeah. Awesome. Another one bites the dust. Can't hang up on me. I know. I can't. You're right. I hang up on you. Or did I hang up on you? The world may never know. The world never know. Let me change the like goal. You guys already got it up to 15. Let me put it up to 20. Boom. Boom, bada boom, boom, boom. All right. Let's see. I do have a lot of other stories to get into. No, the timing was incredible. That cheer was for Stork being hung up on. Exactly. You got it. I can't even do another ad read right now. That's ridiculous. Let's see. What stories do I want to jump to next? Let's see, what's this story? Oh, okay. This one was kind of whatever. That was like a backup story. Let's move that one to the side. Let's see. What else? Oh, okay. This one was funny. Let's talk about this one real quick. If you don't like the stream, you're doomed to a lifetime of bad sex. Wow. I didn't know not liking a Tyler today's stream would result in such a travesty. I don't wish that upon people. I don't know how to reverse this curse, but I guess the only way to avoid the curse is if you guys hit the like button. I don't know how to avoid it. I don't know how to avoid this either. I apologize for my generation. I have to apologize for my generation. Why am I apologizing for my generation? Well, you're about to see right now. Here, I'm apologizing because of this. Skibbity, Delulu, Tradwife have all been added to the Cambridge Dictionary. These are terms popularized by influencers, international leaders, and others, and they've become a part of the online lexicon. I apologize. I apologize for bringing this news to you guys. I apologize for having this skibbity toilet crap on my screen right now. It has the Cambridge Dictionary thing on it. A host of new slang terms are among the 6,000 new words added to the world's most popular online dictionary for learners of English. During the past year, these are terms popularized by influencers, international leaders. We already read that. Skibbity, which emerged entirely from the depths of YouTube, means almost whatever you want it to mean. From cool to bad to whatever. Kids say it and then laugh when adults utter the phrase, but adults utter it anyway. Middle school teachers have made entire Instagram posts about how they've banned it and words like Sigma from their classrooms. Delulu is another addition, which is simply short for delusional, which is, oh, God. Broligarchy, which sounds like what it means, and tradwife, which are also terms that have been added to the Cambridge Dictionary. Luke, lek, what? How do you even say that? Is another ad, which is a way to highlight a specific fit. What? Perhaps as a joke, perhaps for real. Oh God. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese actually used the word delulu during a speech in Parliament. Oh, God, no. Where he said something was delulu with no salulu. No, bro, no. What the fuck? A Prime Minister said that? You did this, Tyler. My generation did this, guys. I apologize. Guys, I'm sorry that this whole situation is just delulu with no salulu. Oh, I'm in tears. I'm near in tears. Okay, the world is also quite popular, the word is also quite popular among teens. Inspo is another shortened form of inspiration, and it can be paired with any trend, such as thinspo. Oh, God. Many of these new additions are not representative of definitions that were not part of the conversation, but are the cementing of concepts that have been around for a while. Words that represent this genre are work husband or work wife. Also in the realm of relationship are the concepts of red flag, green flag, used to describe traits or behaviors in a partner that are indicators of whether or not the partnership is worth pursuing. The word snackable describes bite-sized content popularized across all social media platforms that vie for the ever-shrinking human attention span. The word technofossil, what? Was added, meaning an object that could remain on the earth for a very long period after it has been thrown away and is likely to be found and studied by people in the future. Plastic is considered one of these. That is technofossil. That's okay. Fast tech, objects that become e-waste, while digital decay is the term for information loss online. Information stored solely online is in a fragile state, easily lost forever. The blog of the Cambridge Dictionary tracks the emergence of these words, many of which are combinations of previous words, which is much the way words are traditionally formed. True. Very true. So yeah, there you guys have it. Skibbity is officially in the Cambridge Dictionary. Let me move back to my desk here. Can I actually get the Cambridge Dictionary definition of skibbity? I would like to know. I must know. I must know. Most of these words I'm okay with, is what Melted said. Most of them are just kind of funny. That Delulu one, that one cracks me up because that's absolutely retarded. Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, Post Millennial was not joking when they gave the definition for skibbity. Okay. So it's just a word that can have different meanings, such as cool or bad, and it can be used with no real meaning as a joke. So literally, wow, I mean that is an accurate description. To be fair, skibbity could literally have it has no meaning. It's a word with no meaning. The meaning of the word is no meaning. I love it. That's okay. I'm actually fine with that definition. That makes sense. Let's go back to the desk here. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about having these words? That's a skibbity definition. That is absolutely a skibbity definition. And what's funny is, like, that's an accurate definition of... An accurate way to define skibbity is that it is very skibbity in the way that you would define it. Melted yet again, nailing it. Anyway, we used to have serious adults who made sure kids didn't break the language. I don't believe that. I don't think that's true, Sean. Because if I ask, like, my great-grandmother, I'm sure she'd say that there's words that the generation after her made that she found ridiculous that we think is perfectly normal to use. You know what I mean? Skibbity toilet Riz, Ohio. Okay, Melted. They add new words all the time, often from online trends. Yeah. That's what it said towards the end of the article there. If you don't like the stream, you're doomed to a lifetime of killing it sense having, relations with you, but being super lazy about it and not giving you a reach around. Wow, that's just rude. That's just inconsiderate of killing it sense. Damn your generation, youngster. Sorry, guys. You know what it is? You guys didn't send in enough money. You guys got to pay me more money. You know, but you know who does pay me money? Apparently the NFL is gonna pay me money. Holy crap! Damn. Oh yeah, you guys are getting this NFL ad. This one's almost $2. That's the most expensive ad I've ever seen. You guys are getting. All right, I gotta put on my good face for this one. Hang on. Set your clocks. Mark your calendars and buckle up for the best NFL primetime football action. Starting September 4th on Westwood 1, you can catch all the bone-crushing hits, last-second heroics, and edge-of-your-seat action at the NFL Thursday. Sunday and Monday nights have to offer. Whether you're tailgating, driving, or chilling at home, don't miss a single snap. Listen on the NFL app, the Westwood One Sports app, at westwoodonesports.com, or just say, Alexa, open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One. Well, there you guys go. Go check out westwoodonesports.com if you guys want to check out the NFL. Go and check that out. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. Very nice. Thank you guys for sitting through that brief momentary ad. Let's go Dallas. I'm not a big fan of sports, but I do know that in this house we are Saints fans. That's all I know. I'm not into sports. I don't pay attention to sports. All I know is that my family is a Saints family. I didn't choose it. I was born into it, okay? Cowboys suck. Damn. Lol, boomers mad they're next in the great dying, get owned old people. Damn, Melted. Melted's on one today. Dallas sucks butt. Let's go. Saint fans in California, WTF. Well, to be fair, my stepdad's from Louisiana, so maybe that explains that. Anywho, we got through the ad, we got through your guys' comments. Let's get to the story that I've been excited to talk about today. I've been looking forward to this story. I wanted to talk about it yesterday, but Joey and I were just having such enthralling conversation that we didn't get to it. So we're gonna get to it today. All right, guys. This is probably like my most interested story of the week. Kentucky judge killed by the sheriff. He ran his courthouse like a brothel, and he traded sex for favors at twisted parties, according to victims. So this is on video. I don't know how much I can show because we're on YouTube, but this is on video. The shooting's on. Let's see. Warning, distressing content. All right, yeah. So he's in the office. Okay, I don't know if I could show that. That might have been too much to show. Even that's probably a bit too much to show. It's fine. I'll take the chance. Guys, I'm gonna take the chance with YouTube. Make sure you support me on Rumble. Rumble's where it's at. Rumble doesn't censor me. YouTube might censor me for showing this stuff, even though I don't think it's necessarily egregious. The rural Kentucky judge gunned down in his own chambers last year ran a twisted sex ring in which young women were coaxed into performing sexual favors just to get out of trouble, one of the alleged victims claims. Taya Adams alleges that she was among those caught up in the Judge Kevin Mullan's apparent sex for favor scheme that saw him and others in the tiny town of Whitesburg demand sex in exchange for cash or to get offenders off the hook. Adams told News Nation's Banfield that Mullins, who was shot execution style in his Letcher County chambers, allegedly by his longtime sheriff pal Sean Steins last September. So they were actually friends. He had warned her to keep quiet about the so-called depraved ring. Adams told that Mullins, who was shot execution style, so Mullins had warned her to keep quiet about the so-called depraved ring. We would do sex parties and perform shows and have sex with them for money, things like that, Adams alleged. It was consensual, but it was the thing that we were so young, and then they used it against us to destroy our lives later. Adams said that she felt forced to go along with the judge's scheme because she feared Child Protective Services would somehow get involved and upend her life. They would make sure that you feel as small and degraded and belittled as possible to take your power away. I mean, this is just crazy. And the fact that this sheriff, I mean, but I don't think what the sheriff did is right, but what do you do in a situation like this when you have a judge who's essentially acting as though he's above the law and he's not facing any repercussions? It wasn't immediately clear if the woman had any prior run-ins with the law or if she was on the Child Protective Services radar at the time. She went on to say that it was just a given. She would keep her mouth shut about the apparent depravity, insisting who would believe it anyway? Because the whole town was doing it. Nobody cares. They're all swingers. It's all a big party to them. It's just so normal. That's disgusting. Separately, Sarah Davis, a former deputy jailer at the Letcher County lockup, told the outlet she'd heard about the nasty and sickening stories to come out of the parties. Pretty much everybody in the county knows, but it was confirmed to me after working in the county jail, especially after being invited to a party myself. The claims only add to the disturbing allegations that have emerged in the wake of Mullins' chilling caught-on-camera slaying last year, including the slain judge had been running his courthouse like a brothel. It had since been revealed that one woman, Sabrina Atkins, threw Mullins' name into the mix during a 2022 criminal investigation into Letcher County Deputy Sheriff, who was later jailed for rape and sodomy of a female inmate. Wow. Atkins, who claimed she was coerced by then Deputy Sheriff Ben Fields to perform favors in exchange for staying under house arrest, alleged the judge was in the long-standing sextortion racket. I seen Judge Mullins having relations with the girl in his chambers. He said in his interview at the time. She added that Fields, who was fired in the wake of the probe, also had some videotapes of some stuff in the judge's chambers with girls, relations and stuff. It was unclear if the allegations or the alleged scheme had anything to do with Mullins' shooting. Authorities had previously refused to rule out the possible sex scandal was the motive behind the bloodshed. The judge had been decades-long friends with his accused killer and was spotted having lunch with him just hours before he was gunned down. Chilling surveillance footage captured the sheriff stepping into his pal's office and making multiple calls to his daughter before opening fire. Steins then allegedly walked out and immediately surrendered, telling cops, "They're trying to kidnap my wife and kids." The sheriff's attorney later described the execution-style shooting as a crime of passion due to an extreme emotional disturbance. Steins, who resigned days after the shooting and is being held in Eastern Kentucky jail without bond, has pleaded not guilty to a charge of murder of a public official. See, I'd like to hear more from this guy then. Well, I want to hear more on this guy. He's claiming that they're trying to kidnap my wife and kids. I wonder what was happening there with that. I wonder if this judge was somehow, because clearly it wouldn't be above this judge, but I wonder if this judge was somehow threatening this guy's family, and heat of the moment, he just went into his office and executed him. So I really wonder what was happening there. That would definitely lend more, it would make the shooting a little bit more understandable, I guess. No, I wouldn't say that it's justified still, but I would understand how he comes to that conclusion a little more if his family was being targeted. But I mean, crazy, crazy story. I already showed you guys most of it. I mean, you can't see anything. It's all behind the desk. Wow, just to make sure that he. All right, yeah, he was making sure that he wasn't walking away. So YouTube might knock me for that one. But I don't really care because fuck you, YouTube. I think. I don't have any guests. Why did I go to this one? Let's go to this one. Crazy, 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 crazy. Let's see. Already running out of time again. All right. Well, I want to talk about this story real quick. Let's see. This is from CNN. Family of a father on the run for years with 3 children in dense wilderness urges him to come home. The whole reason I brought up the story is because it's just an interesting story. This father, he had gone on a crime spree, robbed a bank, and he got caught. And instead of surrendering, he rounded up his kids, and he's been hiding in the wilderness since 2021. The family of a fugitive father who's been hiding his 3 children in the dense New Zealand wilderness for nearly 4 years has spoken publicly for the first time since they disappeared. Thomas Kalam Phillips vanished with his children in December 2021, and despite several sightings, appeals for help, and a police search, the family's location remains unknown. Police are seriously concerned for the children. The children, Ember, Maverick, and Jada, they are believed to be ages 9, 10, and 12, respectively. They've had no contact with their mother since their father failed to bring them home. In her first interview since her brother disappeared, Rosie Phillips told New Zealand's journalist Patty Gower how much the family misses him and wants him to return. So this article just goes on to talk about how the family misses him and they want him to come home. Obviously, they want him to turn himself in. Goes on to say here that it's unclear if his family's appeals for help will reach Phillips, who New Zealand police believe is living off-grid using his survival skills to feed, shelter, and clothe his own children. Last June, police offered a reward of 80,000 New Zealand dollars, that's 52,000 in American currency, for information leading to their location and safe return. Phillips is wanted for a series of alleged crimes, including the armed robbery of a bank in 2023, when 2 people were seen on closed-circuit television escaping on a motorbike with cash. So actually, I am incorrect, because he didn't flee into the wilderness in 2023. He was already in the wilderness for 2 years by that point, where he's alleged to have robbed a bank. In November 2023, Phillips and an unnamed child are also alleged to have smashed the window of a shop at 2 a.m. before fleeing on a stolen quad bike. Phillips also has been seen on CCTV with his face being covered, buying supplies at a hardware store. Police and local authorities believe supporters are helping Phillips to remain at large. Police and local authorities believe supporters are helping Phillips to remain at large. So there's people that are helping him. Okay. Rosie Phillips told Gower that she has had no contact with her brother since he disappeared. Asked why she was speaking out now, almost 4 years after her brother's disappearance, she said that in the hope that it just maybe he's going to see this, and maybe he's going to get to see that he can come home and that we are here for him and it might be okay. Last year, the children's mother, who identified herself as Kat, made an emotional appeal to anyone with information to her children's whereabouts and for them to call the police. So the last place he was seen, I actually have it on Google Earth right here. So this is New Zealand, right? This is New Zealand way out here. And this is the area that he was last spotted a couple of years ago. I mean, it's all forest. I mean, you see me zooming in here. It's all dense forest. New Zealand's already a lot of dense forest. The nearest city is way over here. The last place he was seen was out here in the middle of the mountains. Like, you can't find him. If he has actual skills to survive in the wilderness for the last 4 years with going to civilization minimally, you're not going to find him. Look at all the places he has to hide here. I mean, good luck. Good luck. 4 years is a long time to be on the run in the wilderness, though, man. I wonder how his kids are faring in conditions like that. That would be my biggest concern with that. It's not that the father, the father I'm sure has no issue surviving, but it's the kids. He's having to take care of 3 kids out there in the wilderness. What are you guys saying in the chat? He's just making sure his daughters don't learn to say, I don't know how to say that. Isn't New Zealand tiny? New Zealand is kind of tiny. How do they know it's him if his face is covered? Good question. Maybe they saw the children? Sean, a lot of it is like native reservations in the United States, so Zealand police can't go into a lot of that place. So there's a team of people helping a runaway from the law in New Zealand. I vote we call them the Underground Railroad. Okay. Nice, Sean. Or the Kiwi Connection. All right. Bro is living like a hobbit. At least he just knocked off the bank and isn't a... Well, I mean, yeah, there's definitely worse things you could do. Let's see. Mullet living his best life. Mullet skills on point, right? Let's see. So the judge was trying to kidnap his wife and kids. He was going to turn them in. I mean, maybe that's why I want to hear more from on that past story with the judge. I want to hear more on that. Chris says, watch some of the New Zealand or Aussie streamers say no, and you'll understand my last comment. Well, see, that's the issue, Chris, is I don't watch that. Anyway, we're getting to the end of the story here. Let me start closing some of these stories here. I had a lot of filler stories just in case. I didn't have enough time today. So let me get rid of some of these. Let's see. All right, last thing I really wanted to talk about was not that one. Was this one. All right, guys, so we're wrapping up the end of the show here. Joey is not doing a show today, so I'll probably just raid out to Thoughtcast or whoever else is streaming today. But we're going to jump to this next story. Russia rules out European troops in Ukraine as Trump makes veiled threats. So I'm just going to read a few titles here. We have this other one from NPR. Russian airstrike hit a U.S. factory in western Ukraine. And we have this response from Trump. So Jessica and Nora are going live. Well, okay, there you go. I can raid out to them then. Anyway, we have this from Trump. So he said this. Quote, "It is very hard, if not impossible, to win a war without attacking an invader's country. It's like a great team in sports that has a fantastic defense, but it is not allowed to play offense. There is no chance of winning. It is like that with the Ukraine and Russia. Crooked and grossly incompetent Joe Biden would not let Ukraine fight back, only defend. How did that work out? Regardless, this is a war that would have never happened if I were president. Zero chance. Interesting times ahead, President Donald Trump." Now, the reason I don't like this message is because I'm reading all of these articles day in and day out, and these peace talks with Russia aren't working. They're not working. Trump has alluded to having boots on the ground in Russia and Ukraine. I mean, you have this first story I brought up. Russia rules out European troops in Ukraine as Trump makes veiled threats. Moscow threw Donald Trump's Ukraine peace initiation into disarray on Thursday, insisting it must have a veto over any post-war support for the country as its forces carried out a large-scale overnight missile barrage. In a series of hardline remarks, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said European proposals to deploy troops in Ukraine after a settlement would amount to foreign intervention, which he called absolutely unacceptable for Russia. I agree. The fact that this was even being considered is a direct threat to Russia. Imagine you're talking about getting peace for Russia, and they're like, "Hey, Russia, stop attacking the country that we want you to stop attacking, and in exchange for you stopping attacking them, we will set up on the border where on the new border. We'll set up our troops. We'll send in troops from all these other countries and NATO, and we'll amass troops on the border that you now own." No, why would he agree to that? There's no reason for him to agree to that, especially when he's winning the war. Everyone brings this up when they talk about this. Putin's winning the war. He has no reason to end it. And the rhetoric from Trump, I don't know, man. I don't like the direction that this goes in. I don't like the direction this goes in. What I see here is Trump is slowly working us towards boots on the ground. I mean, he's playing it light here, right? We could break this down. So he talks about how he talks about sports and how you can have a fantastic defense, but if you're not allowed to play offense, there's no chance of winning. So then he likens that analogy to sports, and then he compares it to what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. He goes on to say that crooked and grossly incompetent Joe Biden would not let Ukraine fight back, only defend. So what he's saying there is that while Joe Biden was in office and Ukraine got invaded, they weren't allowed to attack Russia. They were only allowed to defend against attacks from Russia. And Trump's pointing out that didn't work. Regardless of Ukraine was fighting back or not, like doing direct strikes into Russia, I think we wouldn't be in a much different place than where we are now. But he says, how did that work out? Regardless, this is a war that would have never happened if I were president. Zero chance. Interesting times ahead. What it sounds like to me when I read a statement like this, when you take it in context, is it sounds like what Donald Trump is saying is that I wanted peace. I wanted the war to end. The war wouldn't have started if it wasn't for, or the war wouldn't have started if he was in office the previous years. And it's not his war, but essentially what he's saying is he's going to end it. That's what I get when I read this, is this war would have never happened if I were president, but now that I am president and that there is a war, I just don't like where he's going with it. If Trump wants to invade something, he should invade Mexico. That's what I keep saying, but we're talking about having certain defense guarantees and stuff for Ukraine to continue the war. I don't know, man. I don't know. I do not know. It's I don't know where we go from here, because it was looking good for a second, but we just need to pull out. That's how this war ends. The war ends when the United States pulls out. Maybe the other European countries might try to pick up the slack and let them pick up the slack. Who cares? Why are we still involved? I just don't understand why we are still involved in this situation when we have nothing to gain from it, really, at the end of the day. We have so much more to gain if we were just to make Russia an ally. This war would have been, this war would have started after him regardless of the position. Exactly. Israel is also talking about recruiting American soldiers to fight for them in Gaza. We shouldn't be involved in any of this. Yeah, and speaking of Gaza, the last thing I'll close out on, 5 and 6 of the people killed in Gaza. 5 and 6 of the people killed in Gaza have nothing to do with the militant faction known as Hamas. Figures from a classified Israeli military intelligence database indicate that 5 out of 6 Palestinians killed by Israeli forces in Gaza have been civilians, and in an extreme rate of slaughter rarely matched in recent decades of warfare. As of May, 19 months into the war, Israeli intelligence officials listed 8,900 named fighters from Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad as dead or probably dead. A joint investigation by The Guardian, the Israeli-Palestinian publication, plus 972 magazine, and the Hebrew language outlet Local Call has found that at the time, 53,000 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli attacks, according to health authorities in Gaza, a toll that included combatants and civilians. Fighters named in the Israeli military intelligence database accounted for just the military people that were killed only accounted for 17% of the total, which indicates that 83% of the dead were civilians. Neither side is good in this war. I'm not going to sit here and support Gaza and the Palestinians, but you cannot come to me and say that Israel is doing right in this war when you have a percentage like that. You can't. There's no way you can justify it to me. The number there would be, for every 600 people killed, 500 of them were civilian. That's an insane ratio. For every one militant you killed 5 people that had nothing to do with it. That's the ratio. That's the ratio in this situation. For every one militant that Israel has killed, they killed an additional 5 people that had nothing to do with it. Hamas is a political party? Didn't know that. Yeah, they actually are. They are a political party. They won the election in, what was it, 2008? Just because they're terrorists doesn't mean they're not a political party. I mean, a lot of people would call a lot of political parties terrorist. I think Israel in their own right is terroristic in many ways, but so are Hamas and the Palestinians. So it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, again, don't let people sit there and tell you that Israel is doing right by this war. They've long passed the point of retribution for October 7th. I think they've gotten their payback 50 times fold. About 50 times fold. At least 25 times fold. They've gotten their revenge for October 7th. So, anyway, I'll leave it out there. You guys have a great rest of your day. Let's see. Do we have anything else to end on here? Let's see. What is this? What is NCAA? That's another ad. Let's do one more ad, and I'll send you guys out. Offer did not match? What do you mean? Hello? Didn't want to work? Excuse me, Mr. Ad. Let me refresh it. Okay, maybe that's why it was adjusting. There we go. All right, guys, the countdown is over. The rivalries are real, and the road to the championship begins on August 23rd. Westwood One Sports brings you every electrifying moment of NCAA football, from the first snap to the final whistle. Top teams, big plays, unforgettable Saturdays. Don't miss a second of the action. Listen to NCAA football on rumble.com, the Westwood One Sports app, on westwoodonesports.com, via Westwood One station streams, or by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports. If it's sports, it's on Westwood One. Well, there you guys go. Go check out Westwood One. We had a couple of advertisements from them today. If you guys are into sports, go check out Westwood One. And then if you guys want to go hear more politics and stuff like that. Oh, I didn't have it up on screen. I didn't have the ad up on screen. Can I pull it back up? No, I can't pull it back up. Oops a daisy. All right, well, I'm not gonna get paid for that one. That's unfortunate. No. Can I not pull it back up? Crap. Well, that was my bad. Test campaign? No, I want the ad that I just had pulled up. I just did an ad, and I want to pull it back up. Whatever. It's fine. It doesn't matter. Anyway, you guys have a great... it's pronounced NCAA. You know, I don't listen to sports. You know what I do listen to? I listen to my own music, and you guys can listen to it as well. Yeah, you know what? You guys get my rap music. Here you go. Later, guys.
I look up the different dates because I got 2 conflicting dates, one from Goop.
Tyler today spitting facts from the station. News on the block, global translation. World on fire, smoke stack in the sky. Truth in the mic, no filters apply. Cameras rolling, headlines in the street. Talking about the struggle where the pavement meets. From boardrooms to alleys, tales unfold. Script flip quick, world stories retold.
Tyler today, keep the truth on blast. Breaking down the chaos, future to past. Microphone a weapon, fighting the lies. Broadcast the real, no disguise. Storms overseas, typhoons taking names. Economies crumble, point fingers in blame. Politicians talk, but the people scream. Tyler today, dissect the dream.
Satellites humming, beams in the air. Eyes on the world, truth laid bare. Ink on the paper, pixels on the screen. The stories we live, the moments between. Rooftop reports, war zones in the lands. Global connections, news never ends. Tyler today, a mirror to the land. Mic in the hand, truth we demand.